can't be changed, and what we need to change is how we physically do it. And that's when especially the occupational therapist might be very helpful. So as we measure how to get into our home, we've gotten up to the door, whether it's by a no-step or a ramp or a lift, but now we have to figure out how to get into that door. And sometimes there's a threshold, and you can see we're measuring the threshold here. If the threshold is more than 3/4 of an inch, it's hard to get in by yourself with a wheelchair. If it's beveled, as the picture is on the right, why then the wheelchair can roll over that easier. But sometimes the threshold is deeper, and we have to figure out some other ways to work with that. And one of them is a threshold ramp. Now, the ramp on the left is aluminum. It's less expensive. It's less than $100. But some of the complaints about that particular ramp are that although it's light, which makes it easy to move there, that lightness doesn't make it very sturdy and stable. And so the reviews that I read about it said that without good concrete screws to stabilize it, it was difficult. But it is an inexpensive alternative. Those particular ramps they weigh about 20 pounds, and they do come up to 6 inches. So that may be an alternative to getting in if you're interested in that. The ramps that that look more sturdy to me, we have a sample up here, and after the program, if you'd like to look at it, we'll bring it out in the lobby so that you can look at it. But it is rubberized. It's less than $200. And it fits up to the door. And so it's a gradual ramp that allows you to get over a threshold that may be limiting. So we get you up to the door, but then we have to get through the threshold to get in. Now, in our typical homes, our front door is usually about 35 inches wide. But we don't always get the full opening because of how the door hinges work. So you want to know how wide your door is, but also how much opening space that you have, because sometimes we only have 33 inches in that 35-inch door. Our bathroom doors are usually even more narrow. 27 inches is what a lot of standard bathrooms are, but then that only gives you 26 inches in some homes to get through, and the bedroom doors being 30 inches wide with a 29-inch opening. So we have to think about how are we going to make it through these doors if we have any mobility limitations. So here's a picture of a 24-inch door, and you can see the wheelchair doesn't fit through it. And so that would be a problem if you were trying to get into a small 24-inch door and you were in a wheelchair. It wouldn't make it. A walker would make it through. So you can see the walker would fit through there fine. 27-inch door, you may be able to squeeze a wheelchair through, but your hands could not be anywhere close to those wheels. In some doors, in some 27-inch doors, the wheelchair will go through, and in some they won't. So you would have to really look at whether or not that would work for you. The walker goes through a 27-inch door. So oftentimes people may use a wheelchair for a majority of their time in their home, but when they get to the bathroom, they may have to park their chair and use the walker just while they're in the bathroom area. 30-inch door. The wheelchair can go through usually, but you can't always keep your hands on those wheelchair rims. So you can see that there isn't much space for my hands to be on those rims. But then the walker fits through very easily in the 30-inch door. And 36-inch door, the wheelchair can go through as well as the walker. So we have the space to get through as our opening widens. Now, there are swing-free hinges that are actually about $26, and we have some on the door up here. And how that works, the hinges swing out so that you can have the full door width. So the hinges can go on, and the way we built this one, I can't swing it all the way out and open because of our brace, but you can see that you would have, even in this situation, you have the full opening of the door. And that is one way to maximize the door opening. It doesn't give you any more space. If you only have 27 inches, it would help give you the full 27 inches, but it wouldn't give you any more. Now, if your issue is arthritis in your hands, you may find that a lever handle like this can make life much easier so that you don't have to grasp the round doorknob and turn it. You can use your whole hand. As an occupational therapist, I always teach use the biggest joints and muscles possible. So instead of the little finger muscles, I can use my whole hand to push that down and then to open the door. Now, lots of people find that even before they experience any difficulties, they like those door handles because they're carrying lots of grocery bags. They can use their elbow. And so this is one of the adaptations that is part of universal design, because everyone universally seems to like it better, that we don't have to have the round knobs on our door handles. So we've moved into the home. We've gotten up to the door, over the threshold, and through the door space, and now we're going to the stairways. So in our homes, we don't always have everything on the one floor. And if we need to use stairways, and we're capable of using them, something that is important, even before you start having too many problems, is to have handrails on both sides of those stairs. That gives you the opportunity to hold on with both hands if you need to, or with whichever side that may be stronger for you. So we want those handrails on both sides. We want the stairwell to be well lit. And if possible, the stairs having a non-slip surface would be very helpful. If you fall, if I would fall here, that would be difficult. And if I fell from one step, that would be very difficult. And it's likely as we age, when we fall, we may break a hip. And I know that I certainly don't want to break a hip, because that really seems to start to limit our activities significantly. But if we fall from steps, we could not only break a hip, but have some more difficult problems. So steps are a preventative area that I strongly recommend you take care of as soon as possible, even before you're getting too many limitations. You can see on the pictures we have the stairwell going down with 2 handrails and some very nice non-slip strips that are on the handrails. On the right, we have a stairwell going up, which would be going to the 2nd floor, and there's 2 handrails going up there. And so that just can make it so much easier for safety for everyone. Now, if we have stairs that we want to get up and we have mobility limitations that make that difficult for us, we may decide to use a stair lift. And the stair lifts, again, if you are doing straight stairs less than 16 feet, the stair lifts can be as low as $4,000 plus installation. If you have goes up partway, then a landing, and then it turns, those become much more expensive. The quote that I got was over $10,000, depending on how much customization had to be done. So but even that could be an alternative to allow you to stay in your home, because even if you had to spend $12,000, if that was the biggest issue for you, you may decide that that was an expense well worth it, so you could stay in your home, because that would be less than 3 months in the nursing home. So we're really trying to look at this in comparison to where is our money best spent. So oftentimes when we need to go upstairs because that's where the bathroom is. And the bathrooms are the areas that we can really work on to make them as safe as possible. And these are areas that we may want to think about what we want to do now and what we may want to do in the future. But there are so many parts to our bathrooms, because we may have a tub shower, we may just have a shower. grab bars, tub benches, shower seats, comfort height toilets, space if we were in a wheelchair to be able to need that, and then the sink style. So even though it's such a small room, this is probably where most of our energy goes to when we're looking at how can I stay in my home. Once we get in, then our focus needs to go to our bathroom for how we can really access all those areas. So in a traditional bathroom, we don't have much maneuvering space. These are architectural drawings of very common bathrooms here in the United States. And the one on the left is a much smaller one, but the one on the right is the same style, but just a little extended. So we're going to talk to you about a couple different options that you can use with this style of bathroom. One is to take the tub and shower out and to put in a prefab insert that just is a flush with the floor shower. And so with that setup, you get more maneuvering space for your wheelchair so that you could wheel the wheelchair into the shower floor to help transfer someone from the wheelchair onto the toilet. And so we're able to really make use of our space much easier. The shower curtain can go up right in that area, and so you can keep the area as dry as possible, although there may be some moisture that goes onto the floor that would have to be cleaned up. So now we go back to this drawing because there is another way to get more maneuvering space if it doesn't work to do a prefab or if that isn't the style that you'd like. And so in this next drawing, we have enlarged the door opening a little bit, and then we have taken out the tub shower, put a tile floor on the entire bathroom floor, and so the floor is all at one height. That gives us more maneuvering space for the wheelchair. And the wavy line is the shower curtain that can be pushed out of the way so that the wheelchair can then maneuver through the shower area when it's dry and get to the toilet to be able to do a transfer for the person. So that is one way that you could make a different change besides the prefab insert. But your whole floor would need to be at the same level for this to work. Okay. Now, sometimes we decide, you know, I don't need to redo the whole bathroom. I really just need to be safer in what I have. And so here are some ways that you might be able to do that. Grab bars are a very common thing that we think about, but we want to be sure that we have very sturdy grab bars. This is an inexpensive model that is about, it's less than $50, but it goes on very tightly and works well. Now, the grab bars go in through, we used to try and put them in the studs, and now we have some other ways to do that so that they don't have to go into the studs, so that they can go into the wall and then have support. This is called a wing it, which is less than $30, which goes in to stabilize around, and then this is another support that came with our grab bar. Now, these are very interesting grab bars. They're called Invisibars, and the occupational therapists that I consulted with to have the presentation critiqued, they like these the best, partially because they don't look like grab bars. They look rather decorative. This would go around your faucet or controls in your shower, but you could hang on to this and get in and out, and it's very sturdy. This one goes over the soap dish, and so as you're stepping into the bathroom, you would have a very sturdy grab bar there. If you just need a little more stability getting in and out of the tub, the device on the left is a clamp-on grab bar that you would fit very tightly onto your bathtub, and then you could hold on to it to get in and out, so that you have something you're holding on to as you step in. I just worked with a couple a week ago. We put a clamp-on grab bar on their tub and then a shower seat inside, so the woman could hang on, step in, and she was just much safer getting in and out of the tub. They were not in a financial position to take the tub out, but we needed to make her safer, and so we used this low-cost safety way to do it. So there are chairs that can fit right into your bathtub. The one that we show here on the right is a tub shower bench, so you can actually sit down on it while you're outside of the tub and then move your legs in while you're in a seated position. So that can be safer. Now, the shower curtain is an issue when the bench goes outside of the tub, and so you have to figure out how to maneuver that to keep the water inside the tub. But that is a low-cost alternative to the more expensive redo the bathroom. Now, the comfort height toilet. When I used the restrooms here before the program, the toilets in the restroom that were on this part of the building all were the higher level. They're easier to stand up from. So you can, if you're remodeling your bathroom, you can replace your toilet with something like this, which was about $350. But it makes it much more comfortable to get up, and if your issue is lower extremity strength, you're going to find that you don't have to push up so hard on your legs, and it makes it easier. But there are low-cost alternatives to doing this elevated toilet seat for the comfort height. You can get a toilevator. So it's like an elevator for your toilet. And so there is a device that you put in underneath your toilet. So it's a spacer, and then the toilet goes on top of it, and that raises your toilet. So that adds 3.5 inches. And that runs less than $100. Now, a much less expensive alternative would be to put the commode chair right over your toilet. Because at that point, you have the higher seat, you have armrests, and you can get up and down then with a lot more ease. Another alternative might be to take a rolling shower chair, because if you have the flat floor for your shower, you wouldn't roll the person in a wheelchair and shower them in the wheelchair. You would need a shower seat, which are a couple $100 usually. But that shower seat could also be used over the toilet for a raised toilet as well. So that might be an option if that fit over your toilet, and you would just have to try